you're being interrogated, like, don't bring that up. Unless they ask you about that, just don't.
Yeah.
Wow, that makes me sound super bad.
Well, it's just like, is that because there's like a big air of magic in the air right now in Aidendrill that she's like assuming that this could be a possibility? Or every execution would you say that? Would you have just always said this to somebody if you're in like a magic town? Would you always be like, I don't know if so-and-so died, even if I saw it. Could have been a death spell. Like...
Yeah, that's true. Only in a magic town would you feel the need to explain something extra like that.
Yeah, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe it just comes down to
okay. All right.
Any death she would explain away like this. Or it's oddly specific. It
was weird, which I thought.
Yeah, it's one or the other. But she explains it's super dangerous, but when it works well. Like, okay, if you fail, you're gonna die forever in a really terrible way. But if you don't, it's like the best kind of witness protection program ever.
We disappear people, man.
Yeah, they believe you died. They will not be looking for you, and if they do, they won't find you.
Well, we do know that there was a death spell, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we do know that there are people who have seen it who wholeheartedly believe what they saw because they saw it.
Yeah.
Like, that's all the proof needed. I watched it done.
And because of all that, it is weird that Grandma Honey and Little Bun are, like, doubting it. Because most people shouldn't be fucking doubting it when they saw it. Because Zed did that, and he did it right.
Because you saw her head come off. It was convincing.
Yeah. So
I would be convinced.
There's definitely something weird about these two. I mean, we knew that, but, like, doubly.
It's like, oh, man, I don't really want to... Okay, well, I will. Well, I'll do this. In Game of Thrones, somebody gets beheaded right away. And you are also made kind of aware that magic is a thing, although it's not as much of a player as are the people. So, like, it happens almost immediately, and then you're like, wait, is he going to come back, though? Is he going to come back, though? He doesn't! And it's so frustrating having to think and like wonder if that's something that's possible. So I can kind of see Brogan's frustration with this, but yeah, unless something like that is at play, just you wouldn't say it. I'm
going to real quick divert to that Game of Thrones topic just because I just want to say at this point in time, anybody who's going to watch Game of Thrones has watched it. And nobody is going to rewatch it. So. Anybody who hasn't has heard how it ends, or like how bad it ends, and they're not going to watch it. Like, that's what I like. Ugh, it's sad. It was a really good show, but like, either you've been spoiled,
I enjoyed the ride.
or you watched it, or at this point, you know that everybody who did enjoy it and love it are disappointed in the ending. So there's no point. So I just don't feel bad if you spoil something from Game of Thrones. It's over for them. I'm sorry if you disagree.
Still.
Yell at me. I don't care. Anyways, so Brogan asks who could cast a death spell. And Grandma Honey tells him that the only person who could do that is a great and powerful wizard. Like,
powerful wizard.
Yeah, they have to be, like, awesome. And when he's like, hey, is there one in the city? Like, anywhere I could find one of those? Can I just go hire one on the road or what? She tosses him the coin that she got from Richard.
Right, which doesn't answer his question, and if I were Brogan, would immediately frustrate me.
At this point in the book, I'm starting to wonder if the wizard's rule that we're going to learn is going to be about not answering questions. Because I feel like a lot of people have not answered direct questions that they've been given so far. People have been just like, what is our path? And they're getting answers like, I'm a war wizard. What?
Explain?
Yeah. I don't think it's actually the wizard's rule. I just think it's funny that this is also a common theme so far throughout this book.
Definitely.
Is that people are just like refusing to answer questions directly.
After 2 books, finally, we have people who are not giving any extra information than they have to. It took 2 books, but we got there.
Yeah.
Now it's like this whole setup, like, let's see how well they did. Stick them in a room with cops and see what they say.
All right, so Grandma Honey tells Brogan that the building and the coin is the pop. And then she tells him she better ask Lunetta about it and tries to take off.
That was sassy, right?
Yeah.
Ask her about it. And then, like, probably did a snap thing and left.
Yeah, well, and it's also like throwing like it felt shady, like.
Oh, it was definitely shady.
Like, what?
And we know that Lunetta has magic.
Yeah, and Lunetta's not treated very good.
So Grandma Honey is like, hey, that girl's got magic. You're blood of the fold. You two should not be together.
Ah, yeah.
And calling him out. That's why I think he's got such a problem with it. Because he's like, don't read me. That's what she's for. She reads you and then tells me. You're doing it bad.
Yeah, and it is, okay.
And, we got this. And Brogan doesn't do anything if he doesn't have the advantage. So maybe that's why he doesn't push right away back with a lot of these people, because, like, she's magic. So she's aware. So maybe his tricks won't work on her. He's unsure, and so...
Yeah, well, he's definitely trying to get a read on those people. Like, the whole time he's watching Lunetta, not out of his, like, he's not letting people know. It's, like, secret looks over at her to see her reading the people. It's not really made clear who all knows what powers who has. Like, we know that Grandma Honey knows that Lunetta has magic, and she did just call him out about Lunetta having magic in front of everybody, which I didn't even think about, like, all of that. Like,
yeah, her having magic is a huge complication for, like, that guy.
Like, well, she made the sideways comment earlier, but then, yeah, she, like, plainly called her out at the end, which is, like, okay. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. So, as she's trying to leave, though, Brogan starts shouting at her, making a comment about not giving her permission to leave and how she's toothless. And she tells him that it's the raw liver that she eats that make her teeth fall out? What?
Absolute weirdest thing. Like, I don't know. He takes a shot at her and she's like, yeah, I eat raw liver, motherfucker.
It's the liver. What? Like, I don't even know how to... Like, it's very weird because I don't even know...
I got it, though, Jade. Have you ever had just a little bit of liver? A nice, like, bodily Chianti?
That's exactly what I thought of.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I eat people, dude. Just points at him.
I was just... What are you supposed to glean from... Like, are you just supposed to be weirded out by this lady now? Like, is that what we were supposed to get from that?
It's the raw liver my teeth can't... Look, I don't know if that's true. Maybe that's a thing that people know. Like, maybe you can't eat a lot of liver or that happens. But that is also a very weird answer to that question.
We know it's true because Lunetta says everything she said was true.
So, don't eat liver, folks. Don't. This has been a PSA from Nate and Jade. Jade's face right now is just like, did something just click?
I know. I'm just like, why did it...
Why would you say that?
Why was it in the book?
I don't know.
Like, why? I'm sure we'll find out at some point. If we don't, if this doesn't ever come back up, I am going to be so upset.
Okay, in my opinion, she's trying to scare Brogan.
But she does eat liver. And it takes her teeth out.
Yeah, which is true. Okay, but still, like, I don't know, dude. Why else would you? Like, I eat raw liver, my teeth are coming out, and I'm going to eat you raw.
And I'm going to make honey buns.
Yeah.
What?
We make this meat pie. It's good. We don't tell anybody the recipe.
Do you know what
and
make
now
the glaze
you know
for
why.
our honey buns out of?
Yeah, and so, I mean, who knows, man? It was a weird thing, but I think she could have had her reasons to include that.
Okay.
Maybe he just threw Toothless out there, so she's coming back like, yeah, I don't have a lot of money, we're barely scraping by, so we're eating raw liver to survive.
Everything she said was so important and, like, purposeful, you know what I mean? Like, she said everything for a fucking reason.
But where there wasn't reason, there was shock value.
I'm just saying, everybody put a pin in the liver thing. We're coming back to it one way or another before the end of this book.
I'm sorry. You were like, this is happening. The eyes. You were like, we're doing this for sure.
No, it's already in the plan. Okay. Okay, so according to Lunetta, everything Grandma Honeybun said was true, but she was just skimming the surface of everything. She was speaking the truth, but it wasn't all of the truth.
But she knows much, much more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, we were just touching the surface of everything that's underneath her. She's a deeper lady than we know. Brogan tells one of his men to take the old woman because she is a baneling. This is proven now. We know this. And the little girl, too, is her familiar. See, there's your answer. Like, he was just biding his time. He was going to capture her.
He was just waiting, yeah. This was obviously the plan. Damn it, she outsmarted me. Hey, she's a witch! She's a witch!
Yeah. He's going to question her, like, super politely. He's going to be, really nice.
The perfect gentleman.
That's why he tells Ittori. Did I say that right?
I think it's less Ittori and more like Atori.
Atori. I'm really bad at names like this.
Ittori.
Yeah. He tells him to make sure that they're ready to tell him the truth when he gets back. Which basically just means, like, torture them until they
tongues,
say whatever
buddy.
I want, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. As Galtero waits to talk...
Galtero. Fucking love that name.
Yeah. When we were listening to the audiobook, every time they said his name in the chapter, we both were like, Galtero.
You know, I'm sure...
I keep doing it, I keep making it going too low. I'm not trying to do that.
Galtero.
Yeah, Galtero.
Roll it. Oh, it's even.
Yeah. You're better
sexy.
at it. You're way better at it.
I know people have heard this like 10 times already, and I really apologize, but it's just so... Every time I hear it, I'm just like, yep, fuck, I wish I had that last name.
Is that his last name or his first name?
No, I think it's his first name, but it would be a cool last name. Nathan Galtero.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's, like it.
But as he waits to talk to him, Brogan relaxes, and he's just having a good old time, so he dumps his little case of nipples on the table. This is a case that he's had since we met him on his belt. It's a little, like, rectangular case, and it's full of nipples. Guys, it has nipples in it.
So I was totally justified in thinking, like, this guy is a psychopath. 'Cause, yeah, he's a psychopath.
I remembered something about nipples with this book, but honestly, I thought he had ears, and I think I'm mixing some stuff up from different books, and that's why. But I forgot that he carried a pouch of nipples.
There's only one thing that this reminds me of: nipple belt. If you guys remember the I guess he is considered a serial killer, right? Because like he didn't kill most of the people. Anyways, Ed Gein, I'm sorry I said that wrong, had a nipple belt.
Yeah.
When they like got into his house and a whole bunch of stuff made out of people. And I feel like Brogan is a guy who would probably be like that. 'Cause why? Like, okay, I know throughout history that certain groups of people have taken certain trophies from the enemies that they fought. Like their bodies.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a trophy, for sure.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, there has been scalps. There has been noses. Obviously, balls are a fun one. Oh. But, like...
Teeth?
Yeah, teeth. Yes. Teeth. Bones. Like the little... I don't know who did it, but there was like a pinky bone. They had the bag. Because they're very small. You can keep a fucking lot of them.
Yeah.
And you kept every one for, like, your whole life. You had this little sack of bones. But people do this, and it's... Even though it's done by, like, the military, like, hey, let's scare them, and it's like a tactic or whatever, it's still psychotic. And I feel like the people who are in charge of the armies that did this shit were psychotic to have their people do this, and then you result in nipple belt guy. Like,
plus I just... Why? Like, okay, I get mummification and stuff, and how you can dry things out, like jerky... kind of.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit, yeah.
But jerky still smells. So, like, his nipple pouch has to smell, right?
I mean, okay, I'm not prepared to get into the actual how did he preserve the nipples, because that's weird. But this is a long time ago. I'm assuming that maybe he cut off the nipple and then put it on some salt, like, to preserve it. Or, I mean, I suppose they could have tanned it like leather?
That's what I'm saying. Does it dry enough to not smell?
I don't know.
Leather smells.
But leather smells good.
Yeah, it does.
After it's been, like, done.
Do nipples smell good when they're dried?
I don't want to think that they do.
I don't need to know that either, I guess. But
you'd be presently surprised.
Just things you think about, you know?
Yeah, well.
And we should be grateful. We should all be grateful that Lunetta has actual pretties that are just patches of clothes and not like shawls of people.
Maybe
like
that's where it came
shawls.
from. He's got to have his, like, trophy because he's a sick son of a bitch and collects nipples.